If you have a problem with interracial relationships still in the year of our Lord 2025, you are mentally unwell. Simple as that. You are the problem. The problem lays with you. Now, there are those who just so happen to love who loves them. There are those who do not look to complexion or melanin or the lack thereof in order to decide whether or not they're going to continue to pursue a relationship. As a matter of fact, there are many in this world who simply don't give a damn what somebody looks like, but instead who they actually are. You know, the old content of your character thing, right? And so when I look out into the world and I see those who are triggered when they see somebody of their own ethnicity being with somebody who is not, the first thing that pops up on my mind is mental illness. That's the only logical explanation. I mean, first and foremost, it's none of your business. But secondly, why is it that you're so triggered? I mean, if it's not just mental illness, you can't control your brain chemistry, then surely it must be envy, jealousy, fear. So there's a video on X right now that's going super viral, and I'm glad it is, because, you know, this is a conversation that I feel has to open all the way up in order for us to fully get over it. There's a video on X of, well, let me let the video speak for itself.
Do you think race mixing should be illegal?
What do you mean?
Like mixing races, like a black person, white person having children, like an Asian and a Mexican.
Yeah.
Should it be illegal or legal?
Should it be legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Oh, no.
No.
Why not?
I love my chocolate man.
Everyone loves who they love. I mean.
So you're a mud.
Oh, what?
It's a quick FYI. I had no idea what that word even meant until maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I had never heard that word used. Now, maybe some may think I'm naive or, well, you probably, you didn't have white people around you. Actually, there were times in my life when I went to school with the majority of white folks. So, yeah, was definitely around them, just never heard that statement made ever. That's crazy. But anyway, let us continue. And if you don't know what that means, by the way, go ahead and look it up for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and give it the time of day.
Mud shark?
A mud is crazy. No.
You said you like chocolate men.
Okay.
So you're a mud shark.
No. I like everybody, but...
I'm sorry, I have to. This is the equivalent of, when a black man is dating a quote unquote non-black woman, and black women come up out the woodworks, mostly the liberal feminist type, feminist type, come out and say he hates his mother, he hates his race, he's self-hating. It's the same thing. He's basically trying to shame her out of her quote unquote preference, maybe. Now, again, some of y'all heard chocolate man. Oh, that's a fetishizing. She's fetishizing. I don't know what she's doing. Maybe she has a black boyfriend, husband. We don't know, right? And brothers, we can't lie like we're not talking about a tall glass of milk. Okay? Let's be real. Snow bunny, come on. But at the core of this, what I'm sensing from this guy is a deep insecurity. I don't think he was expecting this. I really don't. Unless he's trolling and he knew what he was setting himself up for. Maybe he is. You never know. This is the internets. But yeah, it's interesting to me how this one seems to be hit him in a place that he was not expecting to be hit. Let's just say that. The world is changing, buddy. Catch up.
I like my chocolate man.
Wait, why should race mixing be legal if the child is more likely to turn out?
That's a statistic.
Yes.
From what source?
Me looking around.
You looking around?
Yeah.
Very credible, I do have to say.
Yeah. Well, that's the video. So, as I've said countless times in the past, I happen to be one of these individuals who believes that culture should not be pigeonholed or put in this box of race, of pigment. And unfortunately, that's what happens more times than not, and it is detrimental. So if you're somebody who happens to be black, but you don't fit into these certain stereotypes, these certain boxes that are made for you, right? You don't fit the hip hop box. Instead, maybe you're, I don't know, indie, punk rock, or whatever it is. You're then categorized as not black or not acting black or not black enough. So instead of culture being mentality, shared customs, things of that nature, value system, we have this kind of race fixated cultural thing going on. That then leads to, well, that person is not of your culture because they're not of your race or they're not of your skin color. That's a backwards mentality. I want to be in relationship and am in relationship with a woman who shares my value system. We share the most fundamental aspects of who we are. Now, she happens to be of quote unquote mixed race herself, right? Half European, half African, literally. Those two sides aren't the same skin color, pigment wise, but yet they have shared similarities in culture, meaning at some point in their relationship, her parents shared a culture that brought them together. Her and I, my wifey, we may not look the same complexion wise. I just so happen to have a little more melanin than she does, but guess what? We share the same culture, customs, values, mindsets. And that's the thing. It's like, because you didn't grow up eating the same food, you can't have the same level of understanding. Because you weren't at the cookout, we can't be together. Worse off, because you don't look like me. You don't share the same skin color as I do. Therefore, we can't be together. That's the logic. That's why I'm really trying to break this down at the most basic level possible to show just how ridiculous this is. And that's why I say it's either mental illness or, it's an individual who they're triggered. They feel insecure, right? It's a real phenomenon. I was told this by an ex of mine. She said that, her own ex was basically so insecure about a black man taking his girl, which is very ironic, right? Even though she was never taken, but he was always in his head, and he's a white guy. He was always in his head about, oh, you like the black guy, you like that. And he was always he was obsessed with that idea. And I see that on X. I see these dudes who are obsessed about it. And I think to myself, my God, how sad. Do you really think that little of yourself? I mean, look, if you believe that these individuals are inferior, then you should have no fear at all. If I believe somebody is lesser than me, I'm not worried about them. So it must mean that you think that they have something there that you don't have, and therefore you have to, make them out to be something else in the eyes of women. It's almost like, they call it dirty macking. When you have to bring another man down in order to bring yourself up in the eyes of a woman, as opposed to just being yourself, showing up that way. And if she chooses you and she wants to be with you, then that's what it is. And if not, then you keep it pushing. This is really sad. Truly, truly sad. Now, I do understand the argument of, well, look at what black culture or this culture, that culture is accepted as the norms. And let's say parents, fathers, mothers, etc., being afraid of their child being given over to that way of life or that mentality. I get that both ways, right? I'm sure that a black family who has done very well for themselves, educated themselves, or created businesses, living in the suburbs, they would not want their child to lean towards the trailer park folks. Just put it that way. The folks with the backwards mentality. I'm sure they would not want their daughter to date that man. And they may look at it, from an external, there's a race part, but it's really because of the mentality and the culture. So this goes back to shared values. I can't be in a relationship with somebody who is a communist. I can't be with somebody who has that level of victimology. We don't share the same belief system, the same mentality. We just don't mix. We don't match. I can't be with somebody who is, perpetually out partying and drinking and essentially looking for these instant gratification pleasures of life. I have to be with somebody who understands what it is to delay gratification, to do things that are going to be best for not just right now in the moment, but tomorrow and the next day. So we can build a cohesive foundation. Those are the things that I saw in my wifey. The complexion, the skin color, skin tone, that's secondary, unless you have what has gone on within the quote unquote black community, where to be black means to be of this exact culture. To be black means to think this way, to move this way, to act this way, and to never deviate from that. That's when it becomes, kind of a hazardous territory, right? I don't want my daughter, my son being in a relationship with somebody with those value systems. And so if they decide to be with somebody who looks nothing like them, then so be it, so long as they share what is at the core. So yeah, this is it's been real interesting to see this dialogue open up. And I'm glad it is, because it's never a one-sided thing. It just so happens that it's leaning more stronger on one side than it is on the other. Simple as that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.